Today I have two special guests. One of them is arguably the best Olympic boxer in history. He's a former heavyweight boxing champion, an MMA fighter with pride in K1, a father, a trainer, and a cannabis investor. He's been in multiple TV shows from The Contender to Bully Beatdown, and I'm also with his son Iman. He's a heavyweight fighter, trainer, father. He has a 140 IQ and is a Long Beach native. So I would like to welcome Jeremy and Iman.
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Hello, hello.
What's your name again?
My name is Wilbur.
Wilbur. Pleasure to meet you again.
Nice to meet
All
you.
right.
Shoot, and
Who
I'm
is-
co-hosting Miles Margella. You know me.
Alrighty. So how do we know each other?
In the gym, I actually know your mom before I knew you, and your mother is a great person. We love her to death, and she introduced me to you, and you just were a little kid at the time. So I feel like I'm more or less connected to you.
Yes, yes.
Same thing, Wilbur. I remember watching you walk around the gym, fucking short and skinny, man. You know what I mean? When you were like a little teenager. Same thing.
For sure.
And your mother is a great person. I've got nothing but love for your mom.
For sure, for sure. And then I wanted to talk to you guys. Why did you guys start boxing?
Well, I started boxing when I was about 6, 7, 8 years old, somewhere like that. My dad, and it wasn't my choice to box. My dad was like, "You're gonna be a boxer," and I said, "I don't want to be a boxer." He said, "I don't care. This is what you're gonna do," because we lived in a tough neighborhood. We were the only mixed kids in the neighborhood. So mixed meaning my mother is white, my father's black. We had no choice. My father and I was getting beat up from other kids in school. So we, my dad bought a heavy bag, and every day from that day forward, I trained to fight.
For sure. Would you say what was that like? Was that so you grew up in what era? The 80s,
In 80s, 90s.
80s, 90s. Was race a big issue during that time, like with the black community? So I'm talking about like a light skinned person, dark skinned person. Was that a big thing?
I used to get called. I got shit thrown at me all the time. Because my mother's white, my father's black. There were only maybe a couple of that race breed in my school when I was growing up, and so there was either black or white or Latin. Other than that, or Asian. Other than that, nothing.
Nothing. And then you grew up in Long Beach, correct?
Yeah, Long Beach.
So we were talking earlier. I heard you went to school with Snoop Dogg, Cameron Diaz, and Willie McGinnis. What was that like?
It was like going to high school with Snoop Dogg, Cameron Diaz, Will McGinnis, Warren G, Nate Dogg. I mean, it's just like they're not popular or famous in school. They're just there. They're like other kids. I remember Cameron was she was doing modeling. Cameron Diaz was doing modeling in high school, and she would be gone for a couple times. Snoop would be rapping at lunch or in the quad every day. Snoop Dogg is the kind of guy who can rap. Like he can see somebody like he got black shorts and he'll just go off on the right straight away. Boom. Like he's the kind of guy who can just do it. Like he doesn't have to write it down. He just goes straight from the head. And seeing that in high school, he used to have a battle with so I think it was some guy, I forgot. Some guy, him and this other guy used to battle at lunch every day. And it was just, oh, that's just Snoop.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's really good. Like I can't rap to save my life, but this guy can do it like breathing. You know what I mean? And it was amazing. It was. I say it now. I don't know, goofy back then, but it was like that shit is amazing because wow, it's just he could just do it. So that said, I'm like, we hung out in the same little clique, same kind of thing. And like another thing, like my friend Will McGinnis, I went to grade school with him. Junior high, we went different junior high schools. And in high school, come back, this he's the biggest kid in school. Ended up being a 4-time Super Bowl champion for the New England Patriots.
Hall of Fame.
Hall of Famer.
And did you just box while in school, or did you play other sports?
I played I tried to play as much sports as I could, but my dad made me box every day.
And what sports did you play?
I played. I did track, running,
Track.
and I played just that. I suck at basketball.
You didn't play football at all?
I tried to, but I mean, I played 1 year, but I was good, but wasn't great. You know what I mean? So football is for it was really really good. I enjoyed it, but it's like I'm good.
So do you think? So say like your father didn't make you box, what do you think you would have done instead?
I probably would have been a cop.
Cop.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Why? Why that?
I don't know. I've always just been enthralled with you know, police departments and like fire departments, that kind of stuff. I've liked it my whole
Yeah.
life. Watch the shows like Starsky and Hutch and cops and chips and this and that. So I think I'm not like I ain't no criminal. I don't have any no. So I just like I'd rather be a cop. I would hate to have to sit in the office all day every day.
That's cool. So Iman, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Your dad was arguably maybe the best Olympic
It
boxer,
definitely demands a conversation, that's for sure. Yeah.
and also one of the greatest heavyweight boxing champions to ever live. What would you say that was like growing up and following those footsteps?
For me, see, boxing for me is a little bit different from my father growing up. My dad's dad, my grandfather made my pops box because that's what my grandfather believed was his son's best and ultimate escape to get out of where my family was from then. Obviously, I only know through stories from obviously my father, and I'll wait for the plane to pass over. But yeah, so hearing stories about my father's childhood and my uncles, my aunts, and hearing all that stuff and all that, I don't come from money. You know what I mean? My family on both sides, mother and father. There's no like apparent real wealth there. So my grandfather was just helping set up his son for what he believed was going to help make him be the most successful. Not to mention my grandfather grew up around the Muhammad Ali era with Muhammad Ali. So my dad grew up around Muhammad Ali and has and knew the man before his what ended up happening with his life. So for me, boxing a little bit different. For me, was watching my father do it and then going to school and hearing about it, or watching my dad fight on TV, or going to my dad's fights and things like that. So for me, it was more so we always trained. My dad made us always train. We always went to the gym. We always trained. He made us spar. I did some tournaments here and there. I have friends who I still know today that I did tournaments with when I was younger.
Yeah.
Won some, lost some, the whole nine. But I didn't really get serious about boxing and taking it to a serious level until I was about 26 or 27. But I was lucky enough to have 25 years prior to that of being so closer to the game that when I decided to actually commit to it and want to use that as a form of income and a form of success for myself, it was really easy for me to acclimate to that and really translate to that really easily. So it was just different paths, different upbringings. Like obviously I didn't grow up insanely wealthy, but I didn't grow up incredibly fucking poor. I mean, we had some nights were better and worse than others. I'm an American like everybody else.
Yeah.
Americans are only thrive as much as their economy can thrive. So, but it's just different upbringing, man. Comparatively, like LeBron and Bronny, right? One grew up poor in Akron, Ohio. The other one grew up in
Rich in
Hollywood
LA.
Slam.
Yeah.
Obviously, I wish I could have grew up like that. I didn't, but I wouldn't. It wasn't as bad as most other guys have coming up. So for me, it was just I had time to be in my early 20s, make my mistakes like everyone did, like everyone does, like you will eventually. Hopefully not as bad as mine were, but it was just a little bit easier for me to transition to that as I got older on into life when I decided to like really buckle down and decide to make that something that I wanted to be a part of, which is not easy, by the way. So
For sure. And then I know you played football in college.
1 year collegiate ball. Yeah.
When was it? When were you like? You said 26 was the age you started to take boxing seriously, but when were you like? What made you? What triggered that?
It's like I feel like it's kind of a bit of a wall where a lot of most men hit, where they hit the thing where it's like, as you get older, it only gets harder and harder to do things. Even something as simple as like working out and staying fit and staying active. So it was like if I was ever going to tell myself I can do it or actually try to like make a run for it, in my head I was like, it's got to happen now, not tomorrow or next week, not next fucking month, not next year. It's got to happen now. And so he might remember that. Me and him had a conversation that day. I was 26, 27, whatever it was, and I called him. I was like, hey pops, I want to do this, I want to do that. I have this game plan for myself and what I want to do, because I wasn't even living in LA at that time. So at that time, financially wasn't doing well, so trying to
Yeah.
figure out what I want to do with my life and all that stuff. Moved back to LA, and within the first year, man, within the first few months, I was already fighting. I fought. My schedule was pretty hefty, man. I was training, sparring, fighting, and then I was traveling to other gyms, fighting other big fighters, or getting my ass kicked.
Yeah.
Because in this in this business, the hurt business, you get your ass kicked every single day until one day it just kind of stops happening, and then the next thing you know, you're kicking ass. You know what I mean? You stop going on with headaches. So it's just like something like that for sure.
And then I want to pivot back to Muhammad Ali. That's one thing I did not know about you at all. That you pretty not grew up with him, but you knew him as a child. Like, what was that like?
I'm trying to make a reference that would people would understand. It's like you ever had the governor or the mayor or the president in the room, you know, where like you go somewhere where somebody's there who everybody knows. Not most of the people, not some of the people, everybody. That anyway, like I remember Muhammad Ali came to my dad's gym. He driving this car. He had a Rolls Royce convertible.
Yeah.
And he parked right in front of my dad's gym. By the time he got out of his car and walked to the sidewalk, everything stopped. Everything. City buses, cars, people, everything. Police, everything. Like unfucking believable. I could not. I was like, everyone in the city, white, black, Asian, Latin, everybody stopped and was focused on him.
Wow.
And to me, I'm like 10, 12 years old, like this is the most you as a kid, even as an adult, you don't think that is like a common thing for people. Like everything stops.
Wow.
And for me, it was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen in my life.
And then did that give you that edge to just keep like pursuing?
You know,
Fighting.
but at the time, I didn't realize what it was or how it was. I knew Muhammad Ali because everybody knew Muhammad Ali at that time, but I had no clue that he affected everybody. The everybody, and it was just the most amazing thing I've ever seen
Wow.
to this day.
I mean, you say effect. Is it like the external effect? Are you talking about like with the bus stopping and all that?
Dude, buses, not one bus. Buses stopped. People got off the bus. I mean, the bus driver stopped. He stopped the bus, got off. The police, like, wait, what the hell is going on over here? And they see Muhammad Ali and they go, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Right? I don't know what, but you understand what I'm saying. Like, just, it's unbelievable. You know, how one man can make everybody happy. Not telling a joke, not doing anything. He was, he was really cool with, he was very cool and personable with everybody. And everybody had a smile on their face. Any race, any generation, any age, everybody had a smile on their face. And to me, that was the most electric thing I've ever seen in my life. To this day.
And you yourself, like you experienced that to an extent during your career as well. What was that like for you, like adapting to that one? And I also have a question for you, Iman. Like, what was that also like having to like live with that?
Which one, for me first?
Yeah, you first.
Well,
Yeah.
Even though I saw that as a kid, and the boxing era changed, and Mike Tyson was like he's a big tough guy. So what do? I try to be the tough guy, right?
Yeah.
I was like not being nice to people, not being the person that I am today. Just being like, oh, people say, hey, can I have your autograph? Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Thank you. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
When the most famous person in the world shook everybody's hand and made sure he made you know you're important, I did not do that. I was like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever, sign the name, whatever. And later in my life, I realized how wrong I was towards people.
And what made you like realize that? What caused that thought process?
I mean, it only once I couldn't, like I stopped boxing, I had nothing to do, and people were like, "Who the fuck are you?" Because I didn't make myself present like that. I was like, I don't want to be famous. I don't want to be this. I don't want to be that. I just want to be this guy, right? But then really at the other side of that, like as I got older, I'm like, I like when people appreciate they saw what I did. Oh, you were Jeremy Williams, you used to fight, and I was like, yeah, how you doing? And I feel I got more out of being nice than I did being the guy I was. And to me, at this point, at this stage of my life, that's important.
And then did you hit an area? Obviously, you say you didn't grow up like the richest or anything. When you hit that point where it's like, yeah, I started making money, were you like a heavy spender at first?
Of course,
Or like, okay.
of course. Never have. You know, when you're hungry, you starve for the food, right?
Yeah.
When you, I grew. We weren't the poorest family. We weren't the richest family. We weren't even. We were just like low middle, if that makes any sense. Low middle family. But we always had roof over our head and clothes on our back. Not the flyest clothes, but shit, we had clothes. So once I started making money, I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna start buying this, I'm gonna buy that. Every shoe out, I get it. My son, my kids, everything, shoes, clothes, this, that. My wife, cars, shit. And I realized like, I don't really need all this. I just spent $400,000 on what? Nothing. Like shit.
And is that the most you spent? Like, what's the most you've spent on something? Through, like the whole career.
I spent a lot of money.
When you bought Sly's dog and you ran away. How much you buy that dog for?
I don't even
Like
remember.
50 grand, right? Something like that.
Something. Something
You
crazy.
bought some dog off Sylvester Stallone and the dog fucking ran away. I remember that.
Totally forgot about that.
Yeah, see, I remember that one. That one I remember.
I'm be jealous.
Buying Rocky's dog is fire.
I could yeah. I mean, I have done all of the things that a young kid that grew up with nothing would do. I did all that. I did that twice.
Twice over.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And at this stage of my life now, it's like I don't. It's just let's just have let's be good people.
That's good.
You know, let's just be good people. I got no issues, no problem. Like I'm the last guy in the world you'll see fight, but I'm the first guy who will defend you. If that makes any sense.
I feel like that's how a man should be.
Yeah.
That's a good way to think.
Thank you. I just made that up right now. I just no, but that is what I am. Like I try to let my son and my sons shine. How do I do that? By just letting them be who they are. I married two great women in their life, and I've got I got three sons and a daughter, and they do very well.
So, like, what was it like for you
Well, for what?
growing up? Would you say, like, he's explaining that he had all these different spending, not habits, I guess, bad
Could be
spending
habit.
habits?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Bad spending habits and, like, this crazy lifestyle. What would you say that was like?
It's
growing
like
up?
it's like anything else, bro. Like for you or for you, right? When you guys are kids and you have a vague, it's like a fuzzy memory of something. You know what I mean? I have small memories of like living in big houses and having a lot of dogs or that house we used to have in whatever it was, that 3-story house we used to have. Like I remember, like memories of me being like 8 years old and like putting my brother in a hamper and pushing him down the stairs because we had 3 fucking flights.
Yeah.
You know, like little. It's always like little things, even for you guys. Like, you're like, oh, do you remember that when your mom or your dad did that? And you're like, yeah, sort of. Yeah, I remember being there. I don't remember everything, but I remember like little things. You know,
Yeah.
the little stuff, going to like a nice school or having a nice car. Like I have memories. One thing my dad, I remember one thing that was for sure an expenditure for you was cars and watches, for sure. Cars and Rolexes. My dad always had a bunch of Rolexes and a lot of cars, for sure.
To this day.
So it's always like, things like that, little things, and like taking trips and shit like that. But more so than that, like you have to remember this too, like, yeah, the lifestyle of growing up into something like that is interesting or could be unique to people, but you also have to forget the insane amount of like craziness you have to walk around with every day to be committed to do this shit every single day of your life. And I didn't realize that shit until I started fighting. And it's like anything else in life. The more you put in, the more you get out.
Yeah.
You put more in, the more you're gonna get from it. So it's also like, yeah, it's all fun and glitz, and there's some glitz and glamour. But a lot of my childhood was spent sitting in the gym with my dad. Like my weekends as a kid, weekends and weekdays or after school, like if I wasn't in football practice or basketball or anything like that, I was at the gym every day because that's what my dad did. My dad's a fighter. Kids like, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, I'm gonna go to Six Flags. And what are you gonna do? I'm like, my dad's got a fight coming up. I'm gonna be in the fucking gym, bro. You know what I mean? My dad's fighting pretty soon. That's what I'm doing this weekend. So it's just like little things like that. Like everybody, Floyd Mayweather, Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, it don't fucking matter. You can name them. And if anybody you still know the name off the top of your head, a lot of what you see is just them fighting and them being winners and victors, but you also don't see the amount of insanity you have to operate with every single day to wake up every single day, go to the gym, grind. Especially, it only gets harder the more successful you get because you have more opportunities and more excuses to give yourself to not do it. But so that's one thing that my father I learned from my father and was very instilled for me from a childhood because it's the mentality I walk around with every day. We you know I probably had this conversation before when you and I were working on the gym. You get what you work for, right? And all I ever know is my father working hard at everything. We had a comedy the other day. I remember working out the other day, and you're like, "Oh man, you're really getting this workout." And it's like, Wilbur, when do I ever not? Like this is just the mentality I keep with the thing because the person that I learned from did it at an insanely high level. So the only way I know how to operate with is like myself at an insane level. So I would say circling back to your childhood question, all the fun stuff was fun, obviously, but it's all the work that I was fortunate enough to be a part of and to see. You know what I mean? Because my dad didn't leave me at home. My dad took us to the gym, and while my dad was training, we were training. While my dad was sparring, we sparred after. Like Kevin Rooney and all these guys. Like I remember Kevin Rooney or fucking who's Ricky's gym now.
Oh,
Goosen. The Goosens.
Joe
Like
Goose,
these guys are legends in the boxing game. But to me that's just Joe.
That's just
That's
Joe.
just Joe. That's the Gooses. I've known them from they know my mother, you know what I mean? Like Ricky, you may not know who he is, Ricky Funes, he runs 10 Goose now. And now a respected legend in the game. Justin Fortune, right? Legends in the game. I've been knowing these guys my whole life, bro. They're just regular people in boxing.
Yeah.
Because the boxing community's this freaking big, bro. Everyone's in the community this small. It's not as big as and illustrious as people think it is. Bro, I've met Tank, I've met Floyd, I've met Evander, I've met Hasim Rahman, I've met Tyson, I've met Sugar Ray Leonard, like, you know what I mean? Because the community's just small and my dad is who he is, so it was more so like all the guys that people watched on TV growing up. I was like, oh, da-da-da. And I'm like, I know him. How you know him? You know him? Like, yeah, I know him. My dad was having dinner with me the other day. Of course I know him. It's just like little things like that.
Wow.
That would be the difference between seeing it from my lens growing up as a kid, which is why it was also a little easy for me to be like, okay, now I want to be a fighter. Now I want to actually focus on this and try to build my own avenue for it.
That makes sense. Would you say so? I want to go back to like what you're talking about with that work ethic, like boom, 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 constantly going at it. What would you say is like the best way to put yourself in that mindset? Because like even currently now, that's something that I kind of struggle with, like going for something that I don't like. So whether it's with school or other things, I won't put as much effort into it, and I only put as much effort into things like I enjoy. So like, what would you say is how would you say you got into that mindset? Both of you, yeah.
I'll go first. I'll be quick. Well, there's no like, there's no like, everything's so gimmicky. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it takes 21 days to build a habit and all this other dumb whatever excuse. There's no gimmick, bro. You just get up and you do it like anything else. Just how you get up and go take a shit. You get up and go take a piss. You get up to go get some pussy or some whatever, bro. You just get up and do it because you want to do it, right? Not because, you know what I mean? You get up because you made yourself sit up and go do it. There's no get quick rich or get fit. Those are all just gimmicky and, you know what I mean? It's all something to keep a certain mindset of people keeping like that, man. You just do it. You just get up and do it because this is what you do. You got to do it.
That makes sense.
Oh, with me, it's super simple, man. Get your ass up and go to work. You don't do it, You're gonna get beat. You want to get beat or you want to win? I want to win because I got 3 kids. I got 4 kids. I got to prove. I ain't got to prove shit. I got to feed them.
Yeah.
I don't win, they don't eat. You know?
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Would you say like our generation? Who do you think is a harder working generation? Yours or ours?
Mine.
What would you say? Why would you say like? Why do you say that?
Because you guys have everything handed to you. Not everything, but you have a lot of shit handed to you. AI, you don't have to think. Just put AI. Done. We got to figure shit out.
Yeah.
And it's just like every generation gets easier than the one before.
If I took away your phone, could you get back home? Right.
Hard as hell, boy.
Right. You got to learn. You got to fucking read the streets, right? You got to learn how to drive. I grew up in there. Like I'm obviously, but I'm older than you, obviously. But I remember the era when you had to type in your destination in the computer and print out a piece of paper with a bunch of directions. It was called, Jesus, MapQuest. It's called MapQuest. Yeah. You know what I mean? You guys have no idea what that is. It was like a website. It was a jump online, www.com, www.mapquest.com. I'm going to this
38th
and this
Street,
and that.
yeah,
And you
that's
type it in, and MapQuest would give you a left and right. And I remember being a kid, my mom driving, like, and I'm in the passenger seat reading the directions because your phone didn't do that. Every phone was a flip phone. It was a cheap little Nokia.
Yeah.
So it's like that for sure. Even my generation to yours, like, I'm 30 now, bro. So I'm 30 and you're 20. It's like even like that small 10-year gap. There's such a big difference. Like, I didn't have a cell phone until I was in high school. You know what I mean? I didn't have a cell phone until I was 14, 15 years old. So,
I never had a cell phone until I was 25.
Yeah, I was 8 years old when I got a phone.
right.
It's like,
That's cool, bro. I've got a
I'm
younger
not
brother.
even- I don't even know how grateful like I should be for that. But
Just like little things. Yeah.
Yeah.
You had a phone at 8 years old.
Yeah, it's like
Who in the hell you calling at 8 years old?
I don't know. It's like if I'm out on the street, something goes on, I
Call
can
mom,
call
call
my mom,
dad,
my
yeah.
dad, just simple shit like that. But
Damn.
I didn't get that. My mom was very like she's Nigerian, so she's very like, boom, boom, boom.
I know your mother is solid. She ain't playing.
So I didn't get a phone till like I had a flip phone, freshman and sophomore year of high school. I didn't get an actual phone till like my junior year of high school, and it wasn't like a smart. It was a smartphone till then.
That's good. Yeah.
But like we were even talking about it like earlier. Do you think that our generation has very unexpected or unrealistic expectations about certain things? Unrealistic.
I would imagine my thing is yes and no. Yes, because you guys, the ideas that you have are so beautiful and great and big, and then no, because fuck, somebody's got to create that.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, like, somebody's gonna think of it. Somebody's gonna create it. Is it gonna be the same person? Don't know, but it will happen. Technology is a mug.
how do you feel about the creation of YouTube boxing, personality boxing, where it's more so how many followers do you have rather than your boxing skill? How do you feel about that?
I think it's the dumbest shit in the world. like these guys at our gym. I'm not gonna say our gym, but our gym. They're a bunch of fucking YouTube boxers
Yeah.
trying to teach people how to box.
Boxing,
And I'll ask, and then I'll be like, "Hey, how many fights you got?" Oh, well, I don't have any fights. I was, I practiced with Joe Blow. Yeah, I trained with him for a while. I go, oh, okay.
Shit.
So how many? You don't have any fights?
Never fought.
You never fought before? No. But I sparred a couple times. How are you gonna teach somebody how to fight, and you ain't never fought?
Yeah, I've been in the gym though. Like,
Exactly
I've been in
what
the gym. I've been around y'all though.
I stood next to Mike Tyson one time. Crazy, got all the vibes.
Man.
I was like, yeah, who the fuck?
I'll support that what he's saying too, because my thing was for my professional debut, I did it in a very unorthodox way. Most fighters go to Mexico, they rack up a few fights. I chose a tough contender because I wanted to prove to myself and everybody else that I could do it.
Right here, come
right
see me
here
fight.
in America, in LA. I'm not fighting no bums, no tomato cans, what they call it in the boxing world, tomato can.
Yeah.
And everybody, everybody and their mom had a piece of advice for me. Oh, do this and do that, and in the second round you should have did this, in the fourth you should have did that. And I'm just sitting like, right, yeah. Like,
Everybody's
you
an
could have
expert.
knocked him out with this punch. Pff, you're right. Why didn't I think of that shit?
Right,
Woo!
right,
Wow,
yeah.
man. Should have had you in my
Everybody's an
corner.
expert. Everybody's an expert until they got to do it themselves.
Right.
That's what, like, if I had a boxing gym, like my boy Justin Fortune, my good friend for 30 years now, his gym, he makes money, But I'm like, if you want to be a trainer, you gotta move around with one of the guys I know is a boxer. If you can do it with him, if you can, guy ain't gonna rip your head off no shit. But if you can move around with him, then you can train people at my gym.
To at least be able to pass the eye test. Most guys don't pass the eye test. Problem is, everyone wants to be Floyd, man. Floyd Mayweather's a great. He's a legend in his own right. But personally, from my perspective, Floyd Mayweather is the reason boxing kind of disappeared for a little while. Because if you think about it, it's an example he told me before too. Right before Floyd was what? The Tyson era, right? And in that era, everybody was trying to knock out everybody. Bro, some of the best fights you always look up, they're old footage clips from the 90s, from his era,
80s,
right?
90s,
From the
yeah.
golden era, right? With these guys where nobody dodged anybody. It wasn't political. It was the best fight the best at all times. And then Floyd came in, and we're talking Pretty Boy Floyd, not Money Mayweather. Pretty Boy was different. Pretty Boy Floyd went for it, right? He fought some guys, had a couple good battles. You should look up his fight against Augustus, which is probably one of the best. That's probably the worst Floyd's ever looked, even though Floyd looked amazing. And then when he transitioned from Pretty Boy to Money Mayweather, was when it was death by 1,000 cuts, and then boxing disappeared. But around that time is when the Klitschko's came into power, and the Klitschko's took over the heavyweight division, and boxing lives and dies with the heavyweight division. Now that there's a popular, talkative heavyweight, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, right? Like,
Didn't Wilder get beat?
he did,
He
but
recently did. Yeah.
but
yeah, of course.
I would say Deontay Wilder's kind of somewhat responsible for bringing boxing back into the limelight. May not have been the best fighter, but it was a great one-trick pony, a hell of a one trick, right?
He said to this day.
Hell of a
To
one,
this
yeah.
God-
It's
to this day.
a one, very iconic. It's a very iconic video. It's a fucking meme, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And that helped bring. And then now you got Tyson Fury, who one will kick your ass, 6'9", and also is a great wordsmith on the mic. So it's like, what was Muhammad Ali? Tall, talented, and great on the mic. You know what I mean? And then boxing flourished.
So you're saying it's kind of coming back. You feel like to that.
Oh, it already
where
is, man.
Where skill is valued rather than.
Well, that skills always in play with boxing, but it's also like they have to be entertaining fighters. And Floyd is a great fighter. He's just not entertaining. It's not death by 1,000 cuts. You know what I mean? It's just unless you're a true boxing tactician or study the game like I do, or my father did, or if you and I both watch boxing, you and I are watching two different things. You know what I mean? Because I have a different understanding of the game. So we're watching certain things. I can see guys set up traps and things like that and move certain ways, and then most other people just see. Bam, 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 bam. They just see punching, you know what I mean? And it's like there's so much other little things going on.
Right.
And then again, Floyd is an amazing fighter. I know one of the best ever, hands down. But a boring fucking fight, man. Another great example, Shakur Stevenson, great boxer, possibly the most gifted of all those guys right now in that little era. We're talking Javante, Ryan Garcia, probably the most gifted, but the most boring of all the fighters because it's not. And who's probably the least talented of them all? Tank Davis, but he knocks everybody out. He's a slow starter, granted, but 6, 7, 8, 9, those are all detrimental shots, and he beats everybody in those rounds, right? Yep. And he's arguably the more popular of all of them, right? Because people want to watch people get knocked the fuck out.
But you know who's coming up on Tank is Ryan Garcia.
How so?
Well, just in popularity.
He was already popular, man.
Yeah.
Ryan Garcia was an Olympian, man.
Oh, okay.
He's already
I'm
popular.
not really familiar with
Ryan
the
Garcia has
boxing
been
world,
popular since he was fucking 13 years old, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it ain't out of nowhere, bro. He's been popular for a long time.
Okay.
Ryan Garcia's career is like it holds up. It does.
From my perspective as a casual, I just saw him within the last 4 or 5 years,
Right.
popping out. So yeah, you as someone who knows boxing, you see him.
Yeah,
coming up.
I mean, I know Ryan Garcia. I've met the man. I've met him 5, 6, 7 times. Every time I like him, every time I see him, I like him more and more and more. You know what I mean? But he's also like, he's great. He knows it's selling a fight.
Yeah,
you know
he
what I
does
mean?
the controversial stuff.
Right. Everyone thought he was literally, myself included. I was like,
Yeah,
hey man, maybe
he
the
did
stress
good
of
at
life
that.
is catching up to him. And then he went out there, had an amazing performance.
Yeah.
And then as soon as that's done, he went right back to being his normal self.
Yeah.
So it's like, you gotta also sell a fight too. And who's the greatest salesman in the history of boxing?
Muhammad
Muhammad Ali.
dog.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we think he's the greatest of all time. You know what I mean? I personally don't think he's the greatest ever. I think he's the greatest salesman, an amazing boxer. My favorite fighter of all time, the best to ever do it, in my perspective, is Marvin Hagler. Marvelous Marvin Hagler.
Me too.
Man, you turn on clips, man, this guy was an axe murderer and didn't dodge anybody. And never, no matter what you threw at him, he never went backwards. He always went forward. And then after Marvin, I'd put Sugar Ray Leonard up there. And I know Sugar Ray Leonard. I've met him many times. My dad and Sugar Ray are good longtime friends. So it's like, but those guys didn't always sell the best fights, even though they were, in my perspective, the best fighters.
Yeah.
Very true.
Another big name who's my favorite fighter of all time growing up was Julian the Hawk Jackson. And I'm sure you guys have no idea who that
I'm
is.
familiar.
That guy
Oh
was
my
that guy was a
God.
murderer.
Beast.
An
Like,
absolute
what's that,
murderer.
47, 50?
Yeah, coming in there with a big flat top, bro, and just
That's fire.
and knocked everybody out. Like
He fought at like 147
Everybody out.
pounds, 150 pounds.
everybody. Like
Beast.
you ever watch some of his knockouts, bro, and your jaw will like you watch some. I remember watching fights, bro. He would knock people out, and I literally be like, "That guy's dead. Like that guy is dead. He killed him, bro. That guy died before he hit the ground. It was just an absolute monster. You know what I mean? They just didn't sell fights that well. So you got to be a salesman as well. You know what I mean? Which
Okay,
is why some of the greatest fighters weren't the best fighters. They were just always the best salesmen.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Because I did notice that, like, even in like the UFC, like with Kobe White, that's the dude with the MAGA hat, right? Kobe.
I
Kobe
don't- I don't-
Covington.
Kobe Covington.
Yeah, Kobe
See,
Covington.
I don't follow UFC. I'm not a big UFC guy.
Do you follow?
I don't really follow him.
Yeah, I'm not really a big UFC guy.
But Kobe Covington, supposedly, like, the UFC was gonna drop him, and then he just started putting on this big act that ended up getting him like a bunch of these views. He started getting all these big fights, but like before, like he was like this timid dude. Then his like new aura was like this conservative,
His persona
MAGA.
changed.
Yeah.
Became a better salesman.
So is that like a very important part? Would you say to like enhance your boxing career?
Any part of sport, you're going to notice the guy who's not the usual. Any sport. Golf, baseball, football,
Yep.
auto racing, boxing, track.
Everything.
Anybody who
That makes
is
sense.
just outside of normal, we know.
Yeah, those guys are known for sure. I mean, look at
Like-
now. We got the YouTube fighters.
What's our guy, the gambling guy?
Oh,
Was
Mickey
it
Mays.
Mickey, right?
Yeah.
Every other gambler is a fucking weirdo. He's a weirdo too, but he's a weirdo that everybody goes, I like that weirdo.
No,
Make sense?
just works
Yeah.
for the masses.
Boy, there he is right there.
Right. I mean, even so, like you guys are asking about YouTube boxing and all that stuff, like Misfits and all that. None of those guys can fight. I mean, really, like they can fight people of their caliber and their rank, but you put them in there. Like if I did a Misfits fight, you know what I mean? You put one of those guys in with me,
Wash them
bro, I'd
all.
fucking smoke them, and I'd, you know what I mean? I could make it look easy, or I could make it look tough.
He would smoke 3 or 4 in a row.
Yeah, man, I'd
Put 'em in a
smoke.
blunt.
I'd smoke all those motherfuckers. You know what I mean? But it's like that. But it's a big fucking popularity
You
contest.
could,
You got to
too.
be popular. It's
Can't fight
even
like
for
that.
boxing myself,
I
bro.
know,
It's like
I was just
the more
joking.
popular you are, the more fans come. If more fans are coming, the more fans are doing what? Buying tickets, right? You buy tickets, and you know what I mean? It's all got to. Everybody has to make money. You know
So
what I
here's
mean?
a side note. Is Jake Paul fighting Mike Tyson?
Yeah, that's
I
what,
think
it keeps
so,
getting
yeah.
pushed back and everything. But I don't know.
I don't think.
That Mike Tyson is going to beat the shit out of him.
That's
Yeah.
what I think.
But
Yeah.
I heard somewhere on the street, I heard today that the longer the fight goes, the more money Mike makes.
Oh, wow. So
And
it's incentives.
if Jake stops Mike, if Jake stops Mike, the more money he makes. So I guess if it goes 8 rounds, Mike gets his full purse or a bonus or some shit. If it goes less and Mike loses by being knocked out or knocked down or some shit, then Jake makes more money.
I just think they're looking for the knockout with Jake, but they want Jake to knock Mike Tyson out, but they don't want Mike Tyson to knock Jake out. That's how it sounds to me. But-
Jake Paul couldn't knock over a fucking tree. How you call that? A branch.
Said never.
He's an athletic guy. I was supposed to spar with him one time. Him and the other one. I forget his name. Luke or whatever his name is.
Is it
The other one. The other Paul brother.
Logan?
Logan. Yeah, Logan.
Luke sounds better.
I met them before. They came to my gym before. They were moving around with Hakeem Rahman Jr.
Oh,
Hakeem's
Junior,
kid. Yeah, yeah.
Hakeem.
So they wanted me to move around. I guess it didn't kind of work out, but I mean, I would love to move around with those guys for sure. Like
So move around for the people
sparring.
who don't
I'm
know.
sorry, yeah,
means
sparring.
sparring.
Move around is like
Sparring.
sparring. Get in the ring, spar, stuff like that. Just do what they're doing. So, but my my 2 cents on the Mike Tyson thing. I think off skill and IQ, you can beat most motherfuckers just by being able to outthink them. So Mike's IQ is obviously worldly compared to Mike forgets more things than Jake Paul will ever learn about boxing, right? It's just how it is. You know what I mean? It's just how it is. Because he's doing it for forever.
I don't know why there are people that are saying that Jake Paul is gonna beat Mike.
Yeah, a lot of people are.
I like, what the fuck? Who the fuck?
I think the only thing that could play to his benefit is Jake Paul's, what, 27?
Yeah.
27, clearly on gear. The guy's
Gear,
definitely
aka steroids.
I'm clearly on gear. I mean, a spade is a spade. So clearly on gear, whole nine. And then, if I'm Mike's trainer, I'm training Mike to do spurts. You know what I mean? Ride weather storm, boom, 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 boom. Weather storm, think, move, set a trap, boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean? And then if Jake beats him, it would just because he's the younger man, and the younger man has better cardio. You know what I mean? Because he's the younger man. So
Yeah,
Mike
but-
Tyson's what, 60 now?
I don't think Jake Paul has a chance in hell. Mike Tyson knocked the shit out of him.
That would be funny to see.
I
But
do want to see it, but I mean, like, do you think Jake Paul is a good fighter overall, or
Nope.
no? Like, not at all.
Nope.
Really.
No.
He might be a talented athlete, but fighting, whole nother world.
So that's like the next question I wanted to steer into. I feel like a lot of people. So like I'll be at like a gym, let's say like in my school or like somewhere else. People can like lift all this heavy weight, like benching like 405, 315. Do you think that translates at all into boxing or fighting?
Bench pressing, almost no hips,
Mm-hmm.
hips and attitude.
Yeah.
You punch with you don't punch with your hands. You punch with your hips. Your arms are just the thing that hits the person, but you punching it with your hips.
So like that's where like the power comes.
Yeah,
from.
that's what power's in your legs, man. Like, what I mean? Great example. Look at Mike Tyson, right? The guy had legs like a fucking tree trunk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you watch
Knock
him,
everybody out.
every time he punches, he throws his hips.
Yeah, his hips are shifting and everything, and then he's constantly like twisting and turning. But you see him, right? You see him. The lamest term is, oh, he's just moving out of the way. I
Yeah.
see him shifting to another position, loading up his legs to throw another shot.
Right, for the next punch.
Switch, load the legs up, boom, boom, boom. Switch, load the legs up, boom, 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 boom. It's like, if you watch it, bro, he's like constantly loading his legs up, switching from side to side, constantly just building up torque and inertia in his legs. And that's why he knocked everybody the fuck out, right?
So like more functional training is better for boxing than like heavy powerlifting and all that stuff.
I never seen a weightlifter beat a boxer.
Because the way I look at it is like there are these big guys. So like let's say like
Bradley Martin.
like Bradley Martin, like is 260, and that's what he claims.
We say Bradley what?
Bradley Barton, if you ever get a chance, I will knock you the fuck out, bro. Just
Who is Bradley?
can't
Martin?
wait. Can't wait.
He is a what? He's like a fitness
He's
influencer.
like
yeah,
a bodybuilder.
Big
fitness
bodybuilder, yeah.
influencer.
but like he's on a lot of steroids. Like
He's on gear for sure.
Yeah.
He's kind of on this run right now where he's like, "Do you think you could beat me?" To like professional fighters just because he's big.
yeah.
Like he's asking like any professional fighter. He said, "Right here, buddy."
Sure.
I'll do it.
Sure, no problem.
I'll do it. Winner take all. I'll put money up.
I'll beat
winner
you with the
take it all.
jab, buddy.
Yeah, he's been talking like he really want to do it.
But I wonder if it's like just like you said, like a front. Like I feel like
It's a front, dude.
he knows that he can't actually fight these people.
No. He believes he can do it. Whoever goosing him up, say, hey man, you fuck this, I'm the best motherfucker ever, right?
Yeah.
You know, like how you call that shit with an arm wrestle?
Yeah.
The guys that get all goosed up, "Ooh, fuck, I'm doing boom, where? That's somebody. He's got that guy helping him. Yeah, you the greatest shit ever. Yeah, your shit don't stink, nothing else. Like, motherfucker, I would beat the brakes off your ass. If you're listening, I, by myself, would beat the shit out of you. and do it, and then I'll take you all. How many? We'll do 4 rounds, 5 rounds. I'll beat you up for 4 rounds.
Take you in the deep
I
water.
won't even knock you out.
Take you in the deep water and drown you.
Drown you,
That's how you
motherfuckers.
do it.
Swim with the sharks, cuz.
No, it's good to hear that because like I'll be telling people like they'll be like able to lift all this weight. They'll be like raging, showing like anger, and I'll tell them like that is not. That doesn't show that you can fight or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't see how they put weightlifting and fighting together.
You get good at what you train at, man. Like,
Yeah.
you know, sprinters sprint, runners
Right.
run. You know what I mean? Boxers box. You know, lifters lift. You
It's
know,
not- it's
basketball
not-
players
it's
play
not like-
basketball.
Sprinters, what they do? They fight. No, they fucking run.
Yeah. Runners, what they train for. You do what you know. You get good at what you train for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's funny. It's fun and it's funny, but the Americans are so simple minded. Oh my God, Jake Paul, he beat that guy. He can beat Mike Tyson. What? Well then, let's see if he okay. Let's see if he sparred with Lennox Lewis or fought Lennox Lewis. Would he beat Lennox? No. What the fuck makes you think he's gonna beat Mike Tyson?
Yeah. No, yeah, that does make sense.
Oscar De La Hoya would beat the shit out of Jake Paul.
For sure.
Oscar's like 150 pounds.
Man, he's like 200. He's probably like 200 now. He's a little
What?
thick
What?
now.
I've known Oscar since I was like 10, dude.
Yeah, they're on the Olympic
That
team
motherfucker
together.
fight,
So
he fight his ass off. Most talented, one of the most talented fighters I've ever seen.
yes, Oscar De La
Can
Hoya,
beat
one of the
anybody.
greatest ever.
Do you think also height plays a role or no?
No.
So like a 5'3" guy can be
How tall is Mike Tyson?
like what 5'9", 5'10"?
5'8", 9".
5'8", 5'9" on a good day.
How tall were the guys he fought? Everybody, 6'4",
6'3",
6'5".
6'4". The heavyweights, bro.
6'4",
They're all
6'5".
6 feet
big,
up. They're
big,
my
big.
size.
When in the 90s, they're all heavyweights were big motherfuckers. In the 80s, 90s, they're big,
Now they're just tall.
tall. Now they're just really tall.
So MMA, that's one thing I did not know you did at all.
Oh yeah, I did a little MMA.
So you fought in K1 and Pride,
Yeah.
and those are based in Japan, right?
Yes.
You being a black American fighter, were you mistreated by the executives?
No,
Over
actually,
there?
they treated me with a lot of respect.
Really?
And they're really, really cool people, man. Like, you go to their country, man, they're like, I went to Japan, people were looking at me like this. Because they don't see us,
Yeah.
right? They see Americans, but they don't see us. Your ass would stick out like a fucking, like a panther walking down the street. But no, they're very, very cool people, very enlightened, and they're very respectful and they love the sport. Mind you, not everybody. There's dicks everywhere.
Really?
But you know, like the people that I encountered, they're very cool with me.
Yeah. Would you say it's because you were an athlete that
Yep.
you did get that respect?
Yep.
Yeah, because I have family members who live in Korea. They do like medical stuff over there, and they say like they like get like racist like remarks like at
Dude,
times.
the whole world.
Yeah.
Not everybody, not every person. The whole world has a air of racism in them somewhere.
Yeah.
Not everybody, not everyone, but you know, like everybody hates somebody
Yeah.
or doesn't like. Hate, fuck, I don't know, like. I hate people too. Not man, it's, you know, man. I hate assholes. I hate people who done do shit. You know, like I don't hate them because you're black. I don't hate them because you're Asian. I could care less. I think they're beautiful people in every culture.
Yeah.
But you know, some cultures, not that many.
Okay, that makes sense. And in MMA, K1 Pride, you were also undefeated.
Yeah. That was only because I stopped. That sport, there's somebody better than you in something. I stopped before I could get a loss.
Were they throwing soccer kicks? Like when you're on the ground, was that legal in Pride when you were?
Soccer kick, meaning on the ground. Oh,
Yeah, like you were on the ground and someone could just kick you in the head.
No.
Oh, because I remember in Japan they kind of had that for a little bit.
I never hit the deck like that.
Oh, okay.
I was on my back and somebody on me, trying to spin, twist around. Oh, heavy ass fucking motherfucker. But one thing, like I think I was Japanese or something. That some bitch could get heavy as fuck. Like, you know, like they're laying on you.
Yeah.
I'm like, good lord.
Was it like sumo type builds or like
No,
were they just like
like
muscular?
muscular-ish, you know. And like you know how Asians are. They're not super cut. They're just kind of.
Well, I think some of them even like some of the like especially like in China like I've seen on some of these people like they have like really good like muscular genetics.
When I was in China, I saw. Well, we fought in China, so I was like, I mean, the boxers.
Yeah.
It's just like I don't know, 'cause like when you see, I'm used to being Cambodians, and where I live in Long Beach, it's Cambodians, and they were like for lack of a better term, like a second class citizen, right? So they were always just like like so. In my head, I was like Cambodian, Chinese, same. I know completely different, but I was in my head because I was so young. I didn't realize the difference between them. Now I do. So don't be like trying to send and shit. But like I would like I just the Cambodians very docile, very 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 humble people.
Yeah.
Right? So I was like Chinese, same shit. But so I beat the fuck out of the guy. It was an English cat, but I just thought that the people in China, in Hong Kong were pretty respectful, pretty cool.
Yeah.
I thought so.
And then so you were around a lot of Cambodians. Was this in Long? You said
Yeah,
in Long
Long
Beach.
Beach, yeah.
There isn't there like a lot of like. There's like a lot of Asian gangs over there, right?
Yeah.
And what is that like dynamic? Like,
I live down the street from you. How the fuck I know?
well, you grew up there.
Again, I'll say it again. I live down the street from you. How do I know it's in Long Beach?
That is true. That is true. Yeah, yeah. But yeah.
It was probably like way different.
Yeah, it's a way different now. But like, I remember when I was a kid, like junior high level, like the Cambodians would come to California, Long Beach, whatever. Very humble, very cool people, but just very, very, very poor. I would say very poor because of the clothes they wore. Like wow, like you just kind of like close your eyes and went like this. You know what I mean? But now, like, they got businesses and like beautiful women, beautiful people, like very cool. Like they have fit into our to the Long Beach culture very well, and they're gang members. Like these Asian boys are not to be effed with.
Yeah.
No. Them motherfuckers would take your life.
Yeah. Well. And
Gonna-
then
gonna whip out a samurai sword.
You know what I'm saying? Last time I did, I was like, I never did that before.
and then TV shows, The Contender, and Bully Beatdown.
Yeah, those were cool. That was cool.
What were you like? What was your role in that?
In the Contender, I was the coach for. What was I coach for?
I don't know. The teams, basically, right?
Yeah,
It was-
that's right. Two
the
teams.
contender was
the
they
blue
would get
team and the red
a
team.
bunch of up and coming boxers and blue team, red team,
Yeah,
Sylvester Stallone
so
team, and Sugar Ray Leonard's team.
Right,
whatever.
and I coached one of the teams, and then somebody else coached the other team, and then I think my team won. Meaning, but like everybody's all the same weight, 147, 155, whatever. It was the same weight, and we fight. My blue team wins. Two other guys fight, red team wins. So then you lose, you go home. You lose, you go home. At the end of the thing, you got two guys. They got a winner, and the winner is the Contender. We did that for a couple seasons. It was
It's
pretty
like
cool.
the Ultimate Fighter for the UFC.
Yeah,
Same thing.
that's what I was wondering. Yeah.
I feel like that was the Ultimate Fighter before the Ultimate Fighter was a thing. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
And then, what was the Bully Beatdown like?
Bully Beatdown was
MTV.
MTV.
Yeah.
You think you're cool, and you pick on this guy, and this guy is like a humble dude, don't want to fight. So then they go, okay, you tough guy, you fight him. He's an MMA fighter. He's gonna fight you. You want to be tough? Be tough with him.
Yeah, there was incentives too. It was like, if you last a minute, you get $1,000. If you last the round, you get, I don't know, some other fucking some
other
money.
thing, yeah.
That
Yeah.
was you guys are definitely too young for that. But that was what was his name? Mayhem. That's
Jason
Mayhem,
Miller,
Mayhem
Jason
Miller.
Miller,
Yeah.
yeah.
Jason Mayhem Miller. You probably don't know. He's a UFC legend. The UFC guys loved him.
Yeah, he is like a regular old skinny white boy that can fight
His ass off. Whew, boy.
I mean,
Tough as shit.
I'm gonna give me try. Like on the ground, I couldn't do nothing. Standing up, yeah, but on the ground, I could do nothing to him. I'm twice his size, but he was tall. He was tall like you, but just he's like 6 foot some shit, right?
Fucking fight his ass off.
Got that
Yeah.
heart.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
man,
dude
he
could
was
fight.
good. He was known for being tough, bro. Just Nate Diaz before Nate Diaz. You know what I mean? That era
Yeah.
before them.
That's fire.
Did he have like the jiu-jitsu background
Yes.
on top of it?
Yeah, no, he was a UFC fighter.
And then BKFC. I wanted to actually talk to Iman about that too, but like, do you think that's going to be
That is
A
the
big thing.
biggest, fastest rising sport in the country right now. I think it's dope because what it is it's no filters. You can't fight, you don't win.
yeah?
There's no well, Judge Johnson says you won. We fight. At the end of the day, who's all busted up is not going forward.
Yeah.
My guy Keith Richardson is 2-0 in BKFC, and we're working to get him at his third fight. Mind you, BK is a small career, 8 to 10 fights top, done. Then you're done.
Because it's
Wow.
It's your hand, yeah.
bare
Like,
knuckle.
his hands are still a little sideways from the last fight, and this has been 60 days maybe. 60 days. Yeah.
So it's tough.
It's a tough ass sport.
Sorry, guys. How to use the restroom?
Would you like, if it was around when you were still fighting, would you have done it?
I would have done it out of curiosity.
Okay.
But mind you, I ain't trying to get hit.
Yeah.
Not with somebody's knuckles. Talking about BK.
Yeah. Good stuff. I should hopefully be making my BK debut pretty soon.
He's gonna, we'll get it. But for me personally, I mean, if they said, "Hey, Jeremy, we'll give you X to do one," I'd be like, "Can you make X like a little bigger?"
I mean, you might do one though. That still actually might be on the table. So
Yeah. So I might do one,
one.
but I'm not gonna just stand there. Cause what the guys do is, you stand over there, I'll stand right here. I'll punch you in the face. You punch me in the face. And I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
You can call me Sugar Lay Muhammad Allah Jackson. I'm sweeping this shit. I don't want to get punched in the face.
And then you can't. There's no kicking allowed, right?
No.
Is it just like boxing without?
Solo manos más otros.
Boxing, just take the gloves off.
Yeah, and
They
Wrap-
wrap. Yeah, they wrap it
wrap
to the
right
camera.
there.
They wrap it. Show the camera. Right.
they wrap it right to here.
That's about there.
Yep.
Wrap it right to here, and that's it. You keep your hand closed, mouth shut. Fair. But nobody likes to slip punches. There's one guy who did it last show that we did in
And a Cuban guy.
yeah, right. But it
He lost.
he was slipping and punches and shit, but it just didn't. For that sport, it didn't look right. So I was like, if I did it, I'd have to slip by an inch, not by like these huge waves.
Bare knuckle. They want car crashes. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
basically.
Pretty much. It's more entertaining for them. The more blood they get, the more the more the fans like it.
That's the fastest growing sport in the world.
Does Mike Perry still fight now?
Yeah, Mike Perry does actually. Yeah,
Yeah,
Mike
that
Perry.
was
We just
Keith's
saw
guy.
Mike Perry fight.
Yeah,
Yeah, we went to the. We're friends with BKFC and the BKFC owner. So I shouldn't say me. He is friends with the BKFC owner, Dave Feldman. Shout out. Yeah, so Dave Feldman invited us to the BKFC event, their first Knuckle Mania show in LA, and Mike Perry was the main event. So Mr. Feldman hooked us up with some ringside tickets. It was really fun. It was like my first like true BKFC show to like sit and enjoy and watch. Not to mention our fighter, his fighter that I helped train with was on the card as well. So
Our friend.
yeah.
Was it cool? Like, is it different being there compared to boxing, or is it any different?
The difference is boxing is a little bit like there's a little bit more of a pace to it. You know what I mean? Like you were like heard the saying, fights don't start until like the fourth round.
Yeah.
Same thing with boxing. You know what I mean? Like the first couple rounds, it's
Kind of feeling each other.
yeah, you
out.
gotta like get a because you don't everything you're doing in camp is someone trying to mimic this. It's different. Someone's trying to mimic it. Now there's someone actually doing it. So it's like the first few rounds to be able to attest to it. You gotta like feel out, get there, and then once you get 2 or 3 rounds of note taking, and then you're like, okay, now I got all the notes. Now let's go fucking kick his ass. But BKFC is the exact opposite. It's a car crash.
By round 3 or 4, it's over.
Yeah,
Shit.
most fights don't get out of the first.
And then I think they're like the 2-minute rounds too.
2-minute rounds, 3 2-minute rounds. I'm sorry, 5 2-minute rounds, and then most fights don't get out of the fucking first round anyway.
How long are boxing rounds?
3 minutes.
3 minutes. Oh,
People go 3 minutes. That's easy. Actually,
Man,
it's the longest 3 minutes.
It's a
in
long
your
time to
life.
fight somebody, man. I mean, think about a street fight. You ever been in a fight? You ever been on fisticuffs? You know what I mean?
Some kid shit.
I fought in like
Not as an
school.
adult.
Right. But
Yeah,
remember
how
how
long is it? 30
fucking
seconds?
tired you were
Yeah,
after
like
like 10,
30
15
minutes.
seconds?
Not longer than a minute.
Yeah, do you remember how incredibly tired you were after like
Yeah.
20, 30 seconds?
Alright.
Right, yeah. It's same
Damn.
thing. I'm sure you've seen people get fight in the streets, bro. They swing like crazy for 20 seconds.
Eventually, it ends up on the ground.
Whew, you know what I mean? Everyone's taking deep ass breaths and all that shit. So it's hard to do that for a long time.
Yeah.
Both of us say like we were to start like a fighting career. How do you think each of us would do?
I think you
Right
guys.
Your
now?
ass would do better, nigga.
Hey, you like gorilla strong. That's a different story. But that kind of strength doesn't translate. Like this, no, it doesn't really translate.
Yeah.
The longer, skinnier, taller guy will punch harder.
Really?
Yeah.
Shit, this dude look like
It's-
Mike Tyson already though. Shit, look, make him learn how to punch. Shit.
Yeah, man. But like I'm saying, the translation
Yeah.
in the body is you're always gonna look for the longer, taller guy.
You guys ever heard of somebody by the name of Tommy Hearns?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know who that
Yeah,
is?
yeah, I've heard of him. Like he's like a
Mark
lanky,
Breland,
Tall,
good fighter. Yeah,
yeah, man. That guy smoked.
punch
almost-
hard as
Oh my
hell.
god, he just beat motherfuckers with the jab, bro. Because he was so goddamn long.
He was like the same era as Hagler.
Yep, exactly.
Hagler,
Exactly.
Duran,
Right.
Sugar Ray Leonard, that era for sure.
Yeah.
Hagler is Hagler to me is the best to ever do it.
Yes.
In my perspective.
Myself as well.
Yeah, from my perspective.
Yeah.
I gotta learn about him then.
Yeah, Marvin Hagler.
Whew. He just passed too, man. He was good. He was
That-
a great man.
Bro, just go on YouTube and then you'll just you'll fall in this rabbit hole. It's unbelievable.
I had to.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then I want to go back to the Olympics. I've heard many different stories about the Olympic Village. What goes on in the Olympic Village?
Depends on what if you're done with that the Olympics or you're not. I mean, if you're done, meaning you got beat, you're not fast enough, you didn't punch far enough, you're done. Then there's like you stay there and you're like twisting your fucking thumbs, waiting for the week to end.
Yeah.
Or you're winning, you keep fighting, you're preparing every night, because you fight every other day, and then you fight every day.
Oh, shit.
So every other day, and then every day. I'm sorry, every other day, every day, championship fight. So you're fighting people all over the world.
Yeah.
In boxing, you know that I fought that guy before, I fought that guy before. That's a new guy, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And you fought, like, how many gold medals did you win doing that? This one.
But I didn't get a gold medal
Why not?
because I lost. I thought I won, but I lost.
And what
Pops, you
happened
have
with
to delve into why, like, even if I know you're modest, you won't bring it up, but you got to talk about Andrei Kunyavkin, your fucking nemesis from Russia,
As a,
the USSR, formerly known as the USSR, which is
So-
why every Russian in LA, when they see him, they all fucking gush over him because he fought Russia's hero back in the day.
And beat him?
yeah, he beat me twice. I beat him twice. It was good. I beat him the best 2 times. But Andrei Kunyavka, he's a phenomenal fighter at the time. I was like, first time I fought him, I was like 16, 17.
Wow.
He was like 22. He was a Russian soldier
Yeah.
in Soviet Russia. And first time we were fighting at the Goodwill Games in Seattle, right? And I'm bashing him. Boom, bang, bang, bang. First, second round. Boom, third round, I throw a jab out, lazy, and he follows my jab with a right hand. Boom. I'll be back. and then so when in amateur boxing, when you get knocked out, there's a 30 or 60-day suspension you have, right? So then 90 days later we fought Russia again in Russia.
Wow.
Yeah. And motherfucker beat me again by points. Stinky bitch. And I was like, then we fought him again, like a year later. I beat him. We fought him again, and I beat him. So I beat him twice. He beat me twice. He stopped me once though. That I would love to. No, I wouldn't. I would never want to fight him again.
So that's done. That's in the
It's,
past.
that's 2-2. I'll just keep that with an end.
I know you had a question.
Oh, I had a
This
question.
is our last one,
I
I
have
think.
a question. How does it feel knocking someone out cold, and how does it feel being knocked out cold?
Well, see, the knocked out for getting knocked out, you don't feel like shit.
Yeah,
You
you
gotta-
don't. You just wake up.
Okay, yeah. No, I got stopped. Boom. I fell forward. Boom. That shit was like,
So do you just go out cold?
You just wake up.
Hence the term knocked out, buddy.
see how that works?
Hey, you wake up a little confused. What
I
happened?
fell forward. I was like, and I looked. My dad's right there. The Olympic coach was right there, or the American team coach was there. Doctor's right there. Nurse right there. I was like, I'm in the ring. It was like, I got stopped. Huh? They was like, yeah, you got to do this. But you know, you're discombobulated. You know, in your little days, like shell shock, right? And then you're like, a day later or something, or that night you see it on the video what happened. You go, oh, fuck, I dropped this, I did that wrong. And then for me, then you have like a 90-day suspension because they want you to clear your mind, clear your fight, the whole shit, blah blah blah. And then you're back ready to fight. Feels terrible, but because you see when you videotape it, you see where your mistake.
Yeah.
And I remember I dropped my hand, and that's what happened. And I was like, fuck. Knocking people out is like Christmas. Boom. I mean, I've got 50 pro fights. I probably got, I don't know, 45 knockouts, something, 43, some shit like that. So,
You got 2 or 3 in the amateurs.
yeah.
3, right?
Oh, in amateurs?
Yeah, you get 3 clips, right?
Oh, fuck, I've been...
4?
I'm sorry, say it again?
In the amateurs, you got what, 300 fights in the amateurs?
Oh, yeah,
3
300.
something?
Yeah,
300
300.
fights?
Damn.
Yeah, I was knocking out everybody in amateurs. Yeah, I was knocking... But you know, that said, younger, stronger, like, full of, I'm gonna kill this motherfucker, you know. So, but knocking people out, being knocked out, you know, you only appreciate what you have done when it's done to you. And I was like, damn, I've knocked out so many people in my lifetime.
Yeah.
And then I got knocked out, I was like, that's what it means.
Wow.
Well, I just want to thank you guys for taking the time out today. This was very insightful.
You leave my check?
Yeah. I'll talk about it after. But thank you guys so much. This was great.
Thank you, I really appreciate it.
Appreciate you, Wilbur. Yeah, man.
Alrighty.
Fucking A.
You said the S. What was wrong with the ST?